Great morning, dear students. Today we are going to start with the lesson In the Kingdom of Fools from the book Movement, which is written by A.K. Ramanujan. Now, needless to say anything about the author, all of you are familiar with him. Okay, so we have read lots of his stories, and this story In the Kingdom of Fools is you can say Kannada folk tale. Okay, Kannada is a language which is spoken in Karnataka. Folk tale, what do you mean by that? It is like a story which is passed from one generation to the other. Okay, so this is one such story. Coming to the heading, the title In the Kingdom of Fools. Okay, now kingdom here is a state which is being talked about, which was governed or ruled by the king who was a fool. The ministers were fools, idiots, okay, and so were the people who were following him. So what were happening in those places? What kind of state it was? What kind of people living there? The king, what was the way he ruled there? Okay, what are different things that we will see? Let us discuss and we will come to know. Now, the first point here is the strange kingdom of fools. So, why was this kingdom very strange? As I told you, the king himself was a fool, was a great fool. So, in order to do something different from the other states, from the other kingdom, what he decided? He decided that we are going to convert day into night and night into day. Now, what he ordered his people, okay, the crowd, his people living in the kingdom, that during the daytime all of you must sleep, and during the night as the sun sets and it is all dark, you have to get up and start with your work. Farmers were asked to till the land in the night. Even the businessmen were asked to open their shops in the night. Now, what we observe here when we read the lesson, that even the animals were also tamed accordingly. And one of the most interesting thing that you will read here in this lesson, is very funny also, that whatever items that you want to buy from the market, okay, whether it is eatable or anything else, whatever you want to buy, it costed only one dudu. Okay. So, what is it? Dudu is you can say the monetary expression of the money. Okay, it is the unit in which the money was expressed during those days. In that, and you can say in that language. So here, whether you buy one sack of rice or one small bowl of rice or 1 kg of rice, it costed you the same. Okay, one dudu for all the things. Any kind of thing. So this was the two things just given in the story example, and there were many such things which happened very strange in that particular state. So what happened next? Arrival of Guru and his disciple. So in that kingdom where everybody was sleeping during the day and working night, what happened during the daytime? One day a guru came there, okay, along with his disciple. Disciple is the follower of the guru. Okay, who is a disciple? The one who follows somebody, or you can say the student of the guru. So both of them visited this kingdom, and they were very surprised when they entered the market, when they entered the kingdom. Why were they surprised? It was daytime and everything was closed. They cannot even find a small rat also running here and there. So even the bullocks, the cow, they were also asleep, because as I told you, the animals were also tamed in that way only. So they were very surprised that why everyone is sleeping, all the market places are closed and nobody is being seen outside. Why was the people there following this? It was just because the king has ordered them to do so, and he has also issued them a warning that if he finds anybody during the daytime outside, he may kill them. Okay, just for that reason only they were all scared and they were following the king. So these two people, the Guru and his disciple, were very surprised to see that. And as it grew darker, what did they observe? People started getting out of their homes and started for their work. Even the shops were now opened. Now, when they were just roaming around and now they felt very hungry, they wanted to eat something. So when they went to the shop, they asked the price, and they were again very surprised to know that the cost of all the things, irrelevant to the quantity or the variety or whatever is there, the cost was same for everything. Now they were very happy. Okay, they got all the things, they cooked the food and they were having it. Suddenly the Guru realizes that it is very dangerous to live in such a place where everybody is an idiot. Everyone is a fool here. So he realizes this and he asks his disciples that I am going to leave and you should come with me. It can harm us. Okay, this is not a good place to dwell at. So there the Guru decided that he is going to leave, but the disciple, okay, the decision of the Guru was to leave the city, but the disciple refused to leave. He wanted to stay back there in that same kingdom where the things are so cheap and it is very easy for him to get the things, and he was a bit foodie person, so he wanted to be there and to enjoy the meals. Okay, the delicious meals which was very cheap to get and cook. Okay, to buy. So what we saw in the story till now, that it was a strange kingdom where everything was happening in a very strangest way, and then you see that there a person, Guru and his disciple, they came, and then Guru decided to leave the place as he finds everything very fishy and he was not comfortable there. But the disciple refused and he wanted to stay back there. So what happened next? Now the Guru left the place and the disciple continued to live there. So one day what happened? There was an incident. What was an incident? Incident of theft in a merchant's house. Okay, so what happened? Theft, you know. So a merchant's house was being robbed by a person. Now, how did it happen? The thief made a hole in the wall and he entered the house and he took the things, the precious things, and just he was coming out. Okay, this is the incident which is described here. And while going inside, he made the hole in the wall and it was very easy for him to go inside. And while coming out, he was stuck into the hole, and when he tried to come out, what happened? The wall fell down. Okay, the wall broke and the thief came under the weight of the bricks, you can say, the wall, and he died. Okay, he lost his life. Now, this was the incident that has taken place. The thief lost his life. Now, what happens after this in the story? The brother of the thief went to the king asking for the justice, seeking for the justice for his brother's death. He said to the king, he appealed him that my brother was in this business. He called the thief, the theft as a business, ancestors' business. He said we have inherited this business from our ancestors, and he was doing his business duty. He was not doing anything wrong because this has been passed to us by our, you can say, ancestors. Okay, so while doing his work, he lost his life. The king here did not pay attention that what was the work? Theft. Theft is a crime. Okay, so he did not pay attention to it. He did not understood that that the person has lost the life because he was doing a wrong thing, a wrong act. But he was just thinking that yes, he was doing his own business. That was his business, ancestors' business. So the brother appealed that the merchant whose house was there, he should be punished because he has built a very weak wall, because of which my brother lost my life, because he was on his duty. So what happened next? The owner of the house was summoned. Summoned here means was called by the officers in charge for maintaining the disciplines in the kingdom. So he was called there and he was asked that why did you build such a weak house, or you can say the weak wall, that the person died. Now you must also take the punishment. It is because of your weak wall of the house that a person has lost his life. He was on his duty, he was performing his work. So here what the owner says, the merchant, the owner of the house, he tried to explain his part of the story. He tried to keep his point and wanted justice for himself also. Why should I be punished? Because that wall was not built by me. The wall was built by the bricklayer. Okay, so it was his fault because he made the wall weak. It is not my fault. So what happens next? Now the bricklayer and the dancing girl were summoned. Now where this dancing girl came from? What happened after that? After the owner tried to explain his point and he kept proof that I am not the guilty, I am an innocent person. Now who has to be blamed? Bricklayer. He passed the blame to the bricklayer. So when he was called, now he was very old person. So it was built, this house was built by the merchant's father. Okay, so what did the owner said now? When I was very small, my father has built the house, but I still remember the person who has built the house, the bricklayer, lives nearby only, and he pointed out and he was called. So when this bricklayer came, he was a very old person now, because it was a long time when he has built the house. So he was very old and thin. And then he tried to prove his point that when I built the house, I was very young. And I was distracted by a dancing girl. During that time when I was building the house, the wall, I was constructing the wall, making the wall, a dancing girl used to pass from there every now and then, after every time. And her anklets made a jingle sound. And this sound distracted me to do my work properly with utmost attention. So I was distracted with the voice. It is not my mistake, it is the dancing girl's mistake. Okay, she distracted me and she did not allow me to do my work sincerely. So that is why the wall was weak. Now the blame has been shifted from merchant to the bricklayer, now bricklayer to the dancing girl. So what happened next? Immediately the dance officers were sent to call for the dancing girl. Now when she was called, now she was also very weak and very old woman now. What did she say? In her, you can say, to prove herself innocent, guilty free, what did she say? She said here that it was not my fault. It was the goldsmith's fault. Okay. Now, why was she saying that it was goldsmith's fault? I had given some of my ornaments to be made to the goldsmith, which I have to cross that road and go every time there and visit him. Now, this goldsmith used to call me every now and then. He was not giving my ornaments. He did not make the ornaments ready as per the promise he made during that time, that this is the time you should come. He kept on calling me again and again after some days, okay, after some time, again and again. So this was the reason. Because of the goldsmith, I have to go from there again and again. Okay, I was going up and down from there during that place, and that was the reason why the bricklayer was distracted. So it is not my fault because I did not want to go from there. It was because of the goldsmith who kept on calling me again and again, did not give my ornaments on time. So it is because of his mistake I have been, because of his mistake I was walking there again and again. So now the blame has been shifted to the goldsmith. Now the goldsmith was called again. Okay, so what do you observe here? See what kind of kingdom is this? The king is having no sense at all, was not having any sense. He could not realize what is he doing, how the blame is shifting and on what basis he is judging the people. Okay, what basis he is going to judge, give the judgment. Okay, see, let us see further what happens now. The goldsmith came. Now, what was the excuse he has placed there in front of everyone? He said, it was not my fault. Okay, I was busy with the work which the rich man merchant has given to me. One of the rich merchant during that time had ordered me for making a lot of jewelries. So I was busy with that. Okay, so I could not pay attention towards the work of the dancing girl. I was busy with I got a more like you can say the more amount of work from a rich merchant whose I needed to finish it very urgently. So because of that, I wasted my time for this rich merchant. I was not able to give any time to the rich girl's ornament. Could not deliver her ornaments on time. Now you must have guessed that. Now who maybe have called this rich merchant was called again. Okay. Now towards the end, what do we find? We find that the rich merchant is none other than the owner of the house. Okay, so now this rich merchant, the owner, the father of the merchant in whose house the theft has taken place, again the story has revolved around, the blame has come back again to that merchant, because now this rich merchant, the father, has already died. Now who is going to be stand for him? Who is going to be blamed in place of him? His son. Okay, the same son in whose house the theft has taken place. So what did he say here? That it is not my fault. Again the merchant said, it is not my fault. Now what has happened? My father has done the mistake, so he is already dead, so why should I get his punishment? So that's what the merchant tried to explain his point. So here what do we see? That the king finally decided that the merchant was to be punished in place of his father. So he ordered to get the new steak ready. Okay, now see, we will see. Now we will see what happens next in the story. As the steak was getting ready, now the officer, the minister, saw the steak and he thought the merchant who was to be punished finally is very thin. His neck would not fit into the steak. Steak is what? You can say the cut, the instrument, or you can say the wooden platform on which somebody has to be punished, and the neck. Now steak, you all know what is that? It is just you can say a wooden instrument kind of thing in which the person is punished. The punishment of death is given there. So what did he find? That the steak was new and it was the neck of the merchant. He was very thin. It would not fit properly. So he took this problem to the king. Now the king also got very worried that what should we do now? We have to punish somebody. Okay, how can I show my people that I am doing something about these things, or I am doing justice to the people? So he immediately ordered to find a fat person, or you can say the fattest person in the kingdom who could fit in the steak perfectly. Okay, now the officers went around, okay, and they started finding for that person. And whom did they find? They found the disciple. Now this disciple was in the trouble. What was the trouble? Without knowing, without doing anything, now he is to be punished, sentenced to death. Okay, so he kept on appealing that I have not done anything, it is not my fault, please don't take me. But they said, you are the fattest, so king has ordered that and we are going to follow his orders. Now he started remembering his guru's words, that he has warned me already not to be here, but I did not listen to him, and now I am in trouble. Okay, so he tried to just close his eyes and remember and sent a message to his Guru. Guru, being very knowledgeable person, he had some kind of magical powers. He came to know about the trouble of his disciple. And what happens next, disciple, that I have already warned you, you should not be here. They can harm you. These people are fools. Okay, they don't understand anything. So now you have to bear the consequences. So the disciple kept on pleading his Guru to save him. So Guru somehow whispered something into disciple's ear and he thought of a plan. He said to his disciple, when I will say something, you start shouting and saying the way I am going to tell you. So they decided something. Now the Guru came in the front of the king and he said that my disciple has committed a crime, he has made a mistake. So instead of him, you please punish me. Okay, so I will be the one who should be fitting into this stake. Okay, so the king was very surprised to see this. Why the Guru wanted to die or he wanted to sacrifice for his disciple. So as the Guru said this, immediately the disciple also with a loud voice, he also shouted that no, you should not die, I will die first. Now what are they using the words here? I will die first. The same thing Guru said to the king again, you don't listen to him, don't pay attention to him. If anybody has to be given any kind of punishment or the stake has to be used, that would be me. Okay, so you kill me first in that stake. Now the king got completely confused and he wanted to know what is the reason that they are both fighting to die first. Okay, that so he asked the Guru that what is the reason. Now Guru whispered him that we have been around the world but we have never seen such a great kingdom anywhere in any corner of the world. And this stake which you are going to use for the first time, it is the stake with the blessings of the heaven. Okay, so it is a very precious, you can say pious stake which has got to something to do with the blessings of the God, and whoever will die first in this stake, okay, because of this stake, that person is going to take a rebirth as the king of this kingdom again. So the king was a foolish person, he was an idiot, he did not understand the trick of the Guru tried to fool him, the person was already a fool, so it was very easy for him to convince. For this reason, the king immediately thought that I don't want to lose my kingdom in the next birth. Okay, why should this Guru become the king for the next birth? And moreover, he believed on the words of the Guru because he thought he is a saint, he would never lie. Okay, so he called his minister and told the whole thing that this is such and such things are there. So if these two people die in the stake, so what is going to happen? The Guru is going to become the king and the disciple is going to become the minister of our kingdom in the next birth. So I don't want this to happen. So what did they decide? They both decided, yes, I am going to die first. So he ordered the executioner of the punishment that during the night time, the first person who is going to first, you are going to kill that person first, and the next who is going to come in the second term. Now, during the night time, instead of sending the Guru and disciple, the king and his minister went themselves. The king went first and then the minister. And as it was ordered by the king, the executioner executed the punishment and he killed them on those stakes. Now, when the dead bodies were taken to be thrown, the people and the executioner was very surprised to see that it was not the dead body of the Guru and disciple, but it was instead of the king and his minister. So the people were very amazed to see that. They were all shocked. So they immediately remembered the Guru and they understood that this is how Guru has saved them. Okay, saved his disciple and saved them also in the sense that now they are free of a person who is idiotic at all from to rule this kingdom and to order them to do all those silly things and idiotic things. So they went to the Guru, requested him to become the new king and his disciple new minister. Minister at once agreed, but the Guru took some time, but then also he agreed and he said, I'll be the king, but you have to accept the changes that day will be the day and night will be the night. During the daytime you have to work and night is for the resting and the sleeping time. And that the second thing he said, that all the things will not cost the same amount. It has to be changed. So everyone agreed and now they were happy.